All right. Today, let's talk all things offers. Um, we launched Apex. You can see the product behind me there. The original goggles back about a year and a half ago. And then maybe about 6 months ago, we launched the Legend glasses, which I have here in front of me. I'm using it as a monitor stand in the box. And I suppose when we launched that, we thought, let's put as much as we can into the pack to make it like the ultimate bundle, the ultimate value for the customer, right? And I think that served us well, particularly at the beginning. We were just getting started. But lately, we've been giving it a little bit more thought, and we've been looking at what our competition was doing. And like, I don't really concentrate too much on the competition. I kind of like to stay in my own lane. But there was things we could learn from them that I suppose, and reasons why they were doing things the way they were doing, right? So originally we didn't run paid ads. Our products had no paid ads. We're completely organic, right? Which is great because we have a really good margin. But once we started running paid ads, that margin obviously shrunk. So the difference between the cost price of an item and the selling price is called the gross margin. Then you take out all your other expenses. So like, staff, softwares, anything basically that's not directly like the cost of the item. And one of the big ones that comes out of that is paid advertising. So once you take paid advertising out and all that, and you put all that together, you have a net margin. Now, our net margin is tight, right? Now, it's still profitable, don't get me wrong, but not as profitable as we would like it to be, because ultimately, like, there is a saying in marketing, he who can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. And what that means is that if you can spend more than all your competition, we could spend 100 quid to acquire as many customers as we want, right? But the issue would be that we'd actually be making a loss. But if for some reason we could spend 100 quid and still make a profit, like, we have virtually unlimited customers, right? The difficulty comes when you're trying to have a certain cost of acquisition that's lower than your competition. You're always struggling, and it always increases. Like, Facebook kind of engineer their algorithms to I don't think to get you the best cost. It's just to get you a customer. Now, you can set it that you want a certain cost and all that, but you're just limiting yourself, right? So if we go back to our offer, we decided at the beginning to include everything because we're like, that's what people want, right? Now, we assumed, and that's something you probably should never do in business, never assume this is what people want. We assumed people want all the lenses, strap, hard case, like the best, right? But if you take it that every one of those components, there's a manufacturing cost, there is a volume, so they take up more volume in the box. You need bigger boxes, bigger shipments, bigger everything. And when you do that, you're adding considerably to your manufacturing cost for items that probably, if we actually look at it, 99% of our customers will not use, right? Not that there's anything wrong with them, they just won't use. And the thing is as well, people don't necessarily value it because they're getting it for nothing, basically. It's included. They look at the price of your product, the core price, as like that's the price of the item. So, for example, at the moment, the Legend goggles, I think they're 100 quid. They don't value any of the free lenses or like the case and all they're getting. Like, they don't, which our competition are charging 30 quid a lens for. So, if we include all that in our bundle, our competition are still charging like an extra 90 quid for what we're including already for 100 quid, like as extra over and above the goggle frame and the one lens, right? The vast majority of people, as I said, are not valuing it. It's in the box. It's not being used. It's cost us money. And ultimately, for those that do value it, we're not giving them the opportunity to buy it. If that makes sense, to actually buy those lenses. And I'm not saying that to be greedy. Like, I'm not. Hear me out here on this. But there's waste. There's waste in manufacturing it. And then for us as business owners, because our margin is squeezed, we're trying to pay for the item on one side and we're trying to sell it at this price, and we're foregoing this extra revenue we can get from selling those items separately. It's making our business from being super profitable and been able to reinvest and acquire more customers to one that's really, really hamstrung because our margins are too small, our net margins. So what this has meant is that we've actually had to completely rethink what people want. And what people want and what people value is the initial price of the core product, which has to be around 90, 100 quid, right? 110 quid. Then if they want additional items, we have to be able to offer them as an upsell. But what that does is it increases our average order value to the point where we become a lot more profitable. And if we're a lot more profitable, it means we can reinvest in development. We can reinvest into a more premium customer experience without paying for all this waste. Okay? So that's kind of my thoughts for today. That's what I'm thinking about. What I'm also doing is I'm actually going to work on the website and redevelop that because, yeah, look, a better website means better conversion rates. Better conversion rates means lower cost for acquiring a customer, which again increases that net profit. And net profit, more retained revenue means that we can reinvest into more products and more, just grow the brand better, right? Without being very, very tight in terms of the margin. But yeah, that was a big learning of mine. Learning about don't necessarily just give everything away thinking it's the best. Like, give customers what they want, and what customers want, from what I can see is they want. Not that they want, but they don't value it. I think that's the main thing. They're not valuing all these additional items they're getting for free. Like, if we look at all our reviews, like good reviews, but no one's ever saying like, oh, I want this. This is really, really good. They're just saying that the product is good. That's what's key. And that's a mistake. That's something we've learned now. Probably costs us tens of thousands of dollars. More definitely in lost revenue and in extra manufacturing costs. But better late than never to figure that out. And maybe that's why, as I said, everyone else is doing it that way. So, yeah, just one of the key metrics to watch, average order value. And we've been just engineering it the wrong way for the past year. But got us to where we are. So, yeah, I'll come back with more videos like this, but that's what's on my mind at the moment. Any questions, let me know. And I hope you all are doing well.